What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, before I get into this video, I want to give a quick shout out to Gary for his donation to the channel yesterday. Thank you a lot, Gary, for your donation to the channel. I thank everybody that has donated to the channel, all right, over the past several months. I'd like to thank everybody that signed to the Patreon. And I think all you guys should sign to the Patreon, to be honest with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Over the Patreon, you know, in my opinion, you get a better product than even on YouTube because I'm able to talk about stuff over there. I'm able to speak my mind freely. I'm able to talk about more topics, you know what I'm saying, outside of just, you know, sports and other safe topics. I ain't got to talk in code, you know what I'm saying? So, and I try to keep it as low as possible on the Patreon. It's only $2 per month. And it's not like $2 a video. No, it's the fee is only $2. I try to keep it as low as possible. And I think you get, you know what I'm saying, I think you get your money's worth with that, you know what I'm saying. I've already got, I think, close to 60 videos over there. I uploaded one this morning, going to upload another one later on. So I think that's the spot to be, you know what I'm saying, the Patreon. Now, let me talk about Russell Westbrook, man. Now, as y'all guys know, I have a, maybe I got a soft spot in my heart for Russell, man. You know, I don't like seeing any black athlete being unnecessarily shitted upon. But at the same time, there's a such thing as accountability. And you have to be honest with yourself about certain things. Now, one thing that can't be denied about Russell Westbrook is he's a baller. And by that I mean, to me, a baller is a guy who at least appears to be a guy who lives, breathes, smells basketball, you know what I'm saying, plays hard, will give you 100% effort every night on the court. Okay? That's why I like Russell Westbrook. I like guys like him. I like dudes that bring energy and intensity to the game. But unfortunately, Russell Westbrook brings you other things that can get on your nerves if you root for him. He does make, sometimes he gets too caught up in the competitive aspect of basketball, and that can hurt a team. You know what I'm saying? And also, I don't know what's going on with Russell over the past, I'd say, 4 or 5 seasons, but his ability to make outside shots has eluded him. All right, it's really becoming a problem. And the thing that's really going down with Russell is his ability to make the mid range as consistently as he once did, and his ability to make outside shots, 3 pointers. Now, just 3 years ago, his MVP year, he was shooting 34% from outside, which isn't really all that good, but it's not atrocious. This year, he's shooting a career low 22% from 3 point range. 22%. In his last 2 games, Westbrook is 1 of 12 from beyond the arc. He's now under 40% shooting for the season. In his last 2 games, he's 14 of 57. There's no excuse for a guy who shoots 40% from the floor to take that amount of shots unless you're absolutely on fire, you know what I'm saying, uh, and you're a great scorer. And Russell's not a great scorer. Now, he did lead the NBA in scoring one year, but that was mostly because of the situation he was in. He was pretty much playing an offense that was centered around him, and outside of Victor Oladipo, there really was nobody on that team that could really score, you know, create his own shot. So there's that. But ever since the MVP season, man, Russell has been declining as a basketball player. And I think I put a community chat up a couple weeks ago saying that I'm seeing signs that Russell is declining and diminishing as a basketball player. He's still, I guess, a great player, but he's not the same guy I saw 3 years ago. Defensively, he's not the same dude. Um, you know, his shot is broken. You know what I'm saying? I think 78 made a good point. He's such a high energy guy that it affects his shot. He puts so much emphasis in everything that to be a great outside shooter, you have to have that almost softness, that fluidity, and he doesn't have that. Everything seems a little rushed, a little push, like it's like hard pressed, and I think that affects his outside shot a lot. You know what I'm saying? And like I always told you, dude, man, I'm not really a fanboy. I call shit like I see it. You know what I'm saying? I love Russell, but at the same time, you got to call a spade a spade. And the last couple of games, Russell has been playing like James Harden. He's been shot jacking and playing for numbers. You know, I don't know whether Russell Westbrook jacked up James Harden. Well, I know in the last game the Raptors were double teaming James Harden. I mean, yeah, James Harden. So Russell took up the slack of being a shot jacker. But the last two games, Russell has been adamant about getting his numbers. He's been adamant about getting his numbers, and I guess he might be getting tired of taking a back seat to James Harden the last 20 games or so. Well, the first 3 games of the season, people forgot though, Russell was carrying the Rockets. But then James Harden went into Harden mode. I think it was right after that. It was right when he had that 59-point game. Then after that, James Harden just been dominating the Rock. But the last couple of games, it's like Westbrook, like, man, I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm looking at my numbers. I'm not gonna average a triple double. I need to get my numbers. And like I said, I'm being honest, man. Like it is what it is, man. It's what it is. Oh boy, like I'm just looking at his numbers for a second. His free throw percentage is up slightly. It's still not up to what it was for the majority of his career when he was actually a pretty good free throw shooter at 80+%. This year he's at 74%, which is at least better than what he shot last year. But he's clearly not the same player, too. And most guys who predicate their game on athleticism, they are the first guys to break down when they don't have something else to mold their game around. And, you know, that's why it's so important to develop an outside shot, especially in this league. You have to have some type of outside shot, man. It'll just open up the game for you in so many different ways. And I don't know, man. Russell, I love him, man. I love Russell, man. I was rooting for him the MVP season because he did something truly historic, and I thought the media they were giving him props, but you had people in the media who were kind of shitting on Russell because at the time, ever since 2003, you heard that LeBron was a triple double waiting to happen. He's a walking triple double. He can get triple double any game he wants to, and he had his fair share of triple doubles. But then Russell came out there and actually averaged it for a season, something we hadn't seen in 50 something years. And like I said, you can make the argument about whether he was stat padding or not, but the fact remains he did something remarkable. All right, and I put it like this: Russell may have been stat padding. I get it, especially with the rebounds. But the thing that's making it a little bit different from James Harden stat padding, it wasn't as egregious. And from watching those games, usually when Russell Westbrook did have a big game, they won. I saw so many different times when the Thunder, at least that Russell Westbrook from that season, when he would be in the game and he'd have 27 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and the Thunder would be up by what 5 minutes ago, and Russell will sit down. And maybe part of it is because he dominated the ball so much. Maybe the other guys couldn't really get into a rhythm. That's a fair assessment. That's a fair argument. But for whatever reason, the Thunder would blow these leads. All right, and then Russell had to charge his ass back up out there with 2 minutes ago, and all of a sudden that 8 point leads turned to a 10 point deficit, and then he had to play hero ball. Then he's forced to play hero ball, and then that's what you see in the highlights. You see him jacking up threes and missing them, and it's see this team can't win with Russell. But the bench sucked, you know. So I was a huge defender of Russell Westbrook that season, but the last couple of seasons, man, you have to see, what it is, Um, but the thing about it is, like, the dude averaged a triple double for 3 straight years. I don't think he's going to do it this year. Um, he has 143 career triple doubles. The only guy with more is Oscar Robertson, 181 officially. I don't even want to get into that. And Russell may or may not end up as the all-time leader, depending on if he can get 38 more career triple doubles or 39 more. But I do notice this. I do notice that when Luka Doncic gets a triple double, when LeBron James gets a triple double, and whenever maybe Nikola Jokic gets a triple double, even Giannis is looked at as an amazing feat. You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing accomplishment, which it is to an extent. But whenever Russell gets it, there's always this, oh, he's a stat pattern. Yeah, but he's padded stat. No, you gotta be like that with everybody. You gotta be like that with everybody when they get triple doubles. You know. Um, I don't know. I also think this too. I noticed that the media loves to bring up, for some particular reason, they love to bring up Russell Westbrook's shooting percentage, which has been horrible the last couple of games. You gotta bring it up. But yet these same dudes didn't bring up when James Harden shot 11 for 38 the game before last. You see, that's the shit that irritates me. Like, that's why I talk about a narrative with the sports media and the media in general. There's always this narrative. The narrative is he's Russell Westbrook. He can't shoot. So anything that adds to that argument, they're going to use. Anything that doesn't add to an argument that they're using, like that James Harden is the greatest scorer ever, when you see that he shot 11 for 38 from the fucking floor, or he have all these bad shooting nights. They don't. They omit that. They'll say he went 24-24 from the foul line. You know, that's the agenda shit I'm talking about. So that's pretty much it, man. I think that James Harden played very well last night. I agree with Ticket. That's one of the most efficient games he's had, if not the best game overall he had this season. And if he was to play like that, if he was to play like that, and not bitch and whine and moan about being doubled, the important thing is they won. If Russell had made at least half of his fucking shots, they win in a blowout. That's the most important thing, that they win. Not that you get 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like James Harden is like the Stan Ross of the NBA, Mr. 40 points. Like he's more concerned about averaging 40 sometimes than getting the win. You know what I'm saying? And James Harden, Stan Ross, paid the cost to be the boss. Motherfuckers. Nah, but that's pretty much it, man. Like, Russell's gonna be a Hall of Famer, man, but you gotta take the good and the bad when it comes to Russell, man. Tell me what you think.